Hi guys, welcome to this little video where we're going to have a look at how to do some further examples of using functions. Now I've had a look at the homework which was returned to me, and I can see that a number of you guys are really struggling with this idea, so I decided to have a look at an example or two and get you guys to try that question again together with some others. So guys, if you have a look here, what we've got is a simple program at the moment that is meant to output to the console basically the start of a letter. So let's say the person's name, their address, and then dear so and so. Okay, and apart from some spelling errors, of course this program won't run because things like names, address 1, address 2, etc. are not declared variables. So let's have a look and see how we can make this run and also use a function. So what I'm going to do is imagine that, a bit like with databases, that this could be something which is populated, the names, address 1, address 2, address 3, with different information depending on who this letter is going to be addressed to. So let's put this into a function. So just use the keyword function, and it's going to receive this information from somewhere else, which could be a database, the names, address 1, address 2, etc. So let's put these, what are called parameters, inside the brackets here. Address 1, address 2, notice that they're separated by a comma, must be. And then function, in JavaScript you have a open curly brace, and then somewhere, not somewhere, at the end you have a closing curly brace. And what's that telling me? Missing name in function declaration. Okay, so what we've got is we've got the parameters, but yes, I did forget to give it a name. So let's call this function letter. Oops, I was hitting the wrong key there. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, so function letter that has to receive 4 bits of information. Okay, and yep, let's go with that. I might just tab that in so it just looks like it belongs inside a function. Okay, so we've got a function set up, but we're not using it yet. So let's use this function. So I'm going to call this function simply with function, sorry, not function, with the keyword letter, because that's the name of the function, and then we need to put into this the information that the function should be receiving. So let's go Mr. and Mrs. Smith would be the names, okay, comma, to Francis Street, Henderson, Auckland 0612, let's say. Okay, now all of these should have been text, otherwise JavaScript will try and interpret it as though it's got bits of text and numbers, and we don't want that. Just treating these all like just text. Okay, right, I think we've got that set up now. Maybe this dear thing in here should actually have the names again, so let's put this into 2 parts. Dear, and then we want to add on the names, and then we want to add on a line break. Alright, let's see if that works. Let me just put that inside the quote marks. That looks about right now. Okay, so let's give this a run. Right, so Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 2 Francis Street, Henderson, Auckland 0612. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith, thank you for your rather unfortunately spelt recent letter. Let's go and put correct spelling in there. Alright, and so we have now a function which is taking this information, putting it into the various, if you like, fields, but like we did with the database. But these aren't called fields here, they're called, well, the informations which is sent here are called the parameters. So even though it's not strictly speaking correct, let's call these the places where the parameters are being used. Strictly speaking, they're called the arguments. Alright, so there's we've used the function once, but a function doesn't have to be used only once, it can be used multiple times. So we have another person receiving the same letter, and let's give this person an address as well. Okay. Right, so we're using the letter a couple of times. Alright, and so here we have if you look at the console, the output, the same for both, but of course with different information going inside where these parameters are being used. Right, so there's another example of a function being used. Now for that question that you guys were asked to do, let me just swap over to this place here. You need to have, for this particular question, something very similar. You'll have a function which produces the verse of the song from the Beatles. Okay, and it should have 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. The only thing which is different in each of the verses is this part here. Notice that that's different in this verse. That word there, okay, which is different in this one here, and this word here. So you need to send the function 3 different pieces of information. What's going to go in this place, let's call that item 1, let's say. What's going to go there, which is item 2, and what's going to go there, which is item 3. So swapping back to this example, you could have a function called verse which receives 1, 2, 3 items. Then you have 4 console.log lines, which are the 4 lines of the song, of the verse or the song, and inserting in the correct place item 1, 2, and 3. And then you'll need to call the function twice, like I've done here. Now yours will be maybe called something like verse or song, and you'll produce the 2 different two verses of the song, whereas I'm producing 2 letters here. Okay, so have a go at that, and you need to send me a copy of that. Alright, and now I'm going to have a look at, in a moment, a second example of a function. Okay, so I'm going to stop this video here and just create another one so each of them isn't too long. Right, so we'll see you there soon.